Hey, welcome and thanks for tuning in to this town's informational video on Measures Y and Measure Z. We are glad that you're taking the time to get educated on these important issues that are going to be on the November 16 ballot. I'm Curtis Yakimo, Town Manager for the Town of Yucca Valley, and with me today is Leslie Copeland, Town Clerk and Elections Official for the Town of Yucca Valley. In the short video, we will provide you with some informational overviews of both Measures Y and Measure Z, two measures the voters of Yucca Valley will be considering on the November 8th, 2016 ballot. To assist in sharing the information today, we have put together a number of slides to summarize the information. So, what are Measures Y and Z? Measure Y is a general revenue measure for essential town services, and Measure Z is a special revenue measure for sewer assessment reduction. Essentially, both of these measures are tools the community could use to address long-standing concerns dealing with public safety, streets and roads, and the high cost of the town-wide sewer project. Over the course of the past 2 years, the town heard from the community through resident input, through the town's strategic planning efforts, and through a citizen initiative movement started in 2015. What did the town hear during this community input? Well, three common themes were very evident in the feedback received. Number one, safety. Number two, town streets and roads. And number three, the high cost of the sewer system to town residents. These were mentioned again and again as the top priorities of the town. Now, some folks also indicated their desire to see other quality of life programs continue, such as senior services, youth athletics, and the such, but the vast majority of emphasis was on public safety, streets and roads, and sewer assessment cost reduction. Well, some folks might ask, just how does the town provide services? A quick look at this picture will help explain. The town is responsible for providing many services, such as police, animal control, streets and roads, parks and park maintenance, and quality of life programs such as Youth Learn to Swim program, senior Meals on Wheels assistance, and the like. The town council, through citizen input, allocates dollars in as balanced approach as possible. Over the years, the town council has always indicated their priority in the town as public safety, and that commitment remains today. This simple line chart indicated good news and bad news at the same time as we reviewed it with the community. The blue line represents the town revenues, while the red indicates town expenses. The good news is that the town always operates off of a balanced budget. The town does not spend more than it has. The bad news, however, is that the lines are close together, so there is not a significant amount of excess revenue through which to fund increased service demands by the community. So, for example, when public safety police costs increase from year to year, without any additional revenue, that increase in costs must be funded by a reduction in other areas of town operations. This picture illustrates how an increase in public safety police might be funded through a reduction in other services, such as animal care or park programming. Over the past 4 years, the town council has committed to establishing a budget structure that lives within the means provided. Town services have been aligned with town resources within a balanced budget, and the town's existing budget continues that practice today. However, the community has continued to request additional services, primarily in public safety, streets and roads, and wastewater assessment cost reduction. Which brings us to the second alternative, namely slightly larger resources. This is illustrated by the increased resources in the middle green bubble. Should the town have additional resources, those resources could be used to provide the requested services the community desires dealing with public safety, streets and roads, and the cost of the recently passed sewer assessment. In looking at various options for increasing town resources, based on the input received by the community in the town's strategic planning efforts, the community seemed most receptive to voting on a potential sales tax measure or measures as a means to provide additional resources to the town. Based on the input received from the community, the town council determined that November 2016 is the right time for the community to determine how it wishes to move forward through their consideration of two sales tax measures. Through the actions taken by the community, the Town Council will know what level of services the community prefers. While the background information of the measures is important, the specifics of each measure is important as well. Let's look at a quick summary of each. Measure Y is a half-cent general fund sales tax measure that sunsets or ends in 10 years. This measure will require a majority vote of 50% plus one vote. If passed, Measure Y will provide local funds to address those community requests for increased public safety, improvements to the town's streets and roads, and to a lesser degree, other community-requested quality of life programs for seniors and youth. To ensure that the community is aware of the Town Council's priority for uses of the funds generated by Measure Y, the Town Council adopted 3 advisory principles in a resolution adopted on August 2nd, 2016. This resolution stated that the Town Council's priority for Measure Y funds would be, number 1, maintaining neighborhood safety, police patrols, and 911 response. 2, maintaining and repairing existing neighborhood streets and roads. This would include establishing a funding structure that will ensure that new roads coming to the town through the sewer project are adequately maintained well into the future. And finally, maintaining the town's basic quality of life programs. A couple other important facts regarding Measure Y. If passed, Measure Y would generate approximately $1.5 million annually. These funds are protected from state takeaways by the state constitution. Additionally, the Town Council has required that an oversight committee of local folks be established to provide guidance and recommendations to the Town Council on expenditures of Measure Y monies. Finally, Measure Y would be subject to annual independent audits providing strict fiscal accountability and transparency. Measure Z is a second sales tax measure that is designed for a single purpose: to equitably reduce the annual existing sewer assessment for all phases. Measure Z is a half-cent sales tax that will sunset in 10 years and can only be used for this purpose. Because it is a special use measure, it must pass by a 2/3 majority, or 66% plus one vote. As the sewer project moves forward under the leadership of the High Desert Water District, there will be less and less septic discharges in the basin, thereby helping to ensure a safe and clean water supply. Measure Z is also estimated to generate approximately $1.5 million annually, which would be used solely to reduce the annual assessment secured by the Yucca Valley properties. This reduction would be an equitable reduction for all properties in all phases in the existing sewer assessment district. Similar to Measure Y, Measure Z provides local funds for sewer assessment reduction. If passed, Measure Z would generate approximately $1.5 million annually. These funds are protected from state takeaways by the state constitution. Additionally, the Town Council also required that an oversight committee of local folks be established to provide guidance and recommendations to the Town Council on expenditures of Measure Z monies. Finally, Measure Z would be subject to the same annual independent audit provisions, providing strict fiscal accountability and transparency.
Thank you, Curtis. As we conclude this informational session on Measure Y and Measure Z, there are a couple of important dates for voters to remember related to the November 8th election cycle. By now, many of you have begun to see your voter information guides in the mail. Sample ballots will be distributed soon. Starting after November 11th, 2016, the San Bernardino County Registrar of Voters will begin offering limited early voting. In Yucca Valley, early voting will be available beginning October 31st at the county's early voting polling location right here at Yucca Valley Town Hall. If you're not registered to vote in Yucca Valley but would like to do so, the last date to register is October 24th. Finally, Election Day is November 8th, 2016. See your sample ballot for your individual polling location. Or if you are a registered absentee voter, you can drop off your ballot at any time at Yucca Valley Town Hall or at the Yucca Valley Branch Library. You can also reach us by phone or email and we'll be sure to provide the information you're requesting.
Hey, thanks so much for spending a few moments with us today to get educated on these important issues. We hope you found the information to be factual and helpful as you evaluate Measure Y and Measure Z. Have a great day.